Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the stream. Just as a little heads up for today, we are continuing with Fire Emblem Three Houses, but before we get into that, I apologize if I seem a little bit out of it today, or if I seem a bit tired. It has been a very busy week. As I already said before, I work as a community manager for THQ Nordic, and we had 2 releases this week, and when it's a release day it means I'm working 16 hours a day. So I've had 2 16-hour days this week and my brain is a bit scrambled, so I apologize if I seem a bit out of it today. Hopefully everything will still be okay. Anyway, we are going to dive right back into the game. I think last time we did chapter 3 with Lonato, so we got rid of Lonato. We could not yet recruit Catherine, but we did recruit Anna. And the goal for today will be to, well, I don't think we'll be able to recruit Catherine because Catherine requires us to be level 15 and I think we're level 6. But we will get to the Holy Mausoleum and we will unlock a bit more stuff in the monastery and hopefully work a bit more on our recruiting. So let's go with the start of chapter 4.
Part 1. White Clouds. Blue Sea Moon. The goddess's rite of rebirth. As the sun grows stronger and the nights grow ever shorter, the Blue Sea Star returns to the sky once more. Believed to be the goddess's home, her followers look to the star and commence celebrations of her rebirth. On the grounds of Garreg Mach Monastery, a grand ceremony is held in honor of this much-anticipated event. Every true follower of the Church of Seiros is sure to be in attendance.
Hello, Satcher, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. All good? In case you guys are wondering what's going on here in the background, I actually just spilled some hot chocolate all over myself, so that's fun. As I said, I'm a bit out of it. It's been a long week. Alright, 4,000, nice. Casper, yes, we do want to give him flowers. Nice. Oh, we finally have our supports unlocked with Dimitri. Nice, let's go.
Perfect timing, Professor. If you don't mind, I have a favor I'd like to ask of you. It's in regard to sword training. Not for myself, but, well, to be honest, I've been teaching swordsmanship to the orphans at the monastery for a while now. Some of them saw me sparring with the knights one day. They started pestering me to teach them. They were so earnest, I couldn't help but oblige. There's much I wish to show them, but due to my own studies and training, I'm afraid my time is rather limited. Which brings me to my favor. Your swordsmanship is unmatched. I hate to ask this of you, but would you consider lending me a hand?
I find this hilarious. Dimitri, you're saying you don't have time as a student. I am a professor. Where do you think I can find time to teach orphans? But okay. And for your question, Sachi, I'm doing okay. We had a very busy week at work because we released 2 games, which means 2 16-hour days for me. Aside from that, everything's good. Thank you. I'm glad to hear you're doing good as well.
Thank you, truly. I am in your debt, and I always repay my debts, I'll have you know. All of these children lost their families and homes to war or illness. This may sound a bit arrogant, but I feel it's my responsibility to help them. I lost my parents without warning too. In that way, we're the same. In Dusker, I lost my father, stepmother, and closest friends. I didn't have many allies at the castle after that. In truth, I had only to do for companionship.
Well, I'm pretty sure he would have mentioned other family, but yeah, let's ask.
I'm afraid not. My birth mother fell ill and died shortly after I was born. And my uncle, suffice to say, we don't get along. But there were those outside the castle walls I was close to, such as Rodrigue.
Who is Rodrigue? He's badass.
Pardon my rudeness. I meant Lord Rodrigue. He is my father's old companion, and the father of Felix. On the occasions he would visit the capital, he'd take me out hunting, or on long horse rides. While Dedu is like a brother to me, Rodrigue is more like a second father. It might sound ridiculous, but he's the kind of man I hope to become one day. Someone who helps others. Someone who can reach out and save a lost soul. Oh, please, accept my apologies for boring you with my life story. In any case, don't forget your promise, Professor. I'm counting on you.
Alright, so we learned a little bit about Dimitri, and it's true, the event in which he lost his father basically also killed a lot of his best friends and such.
Our task for this moon is to patrol and guard the monastery, to help put a stop to that assassination plot. The knights will certainly have their hands full protecting Lady Rhea, and perhaps our enemy is counting on that.
Your Highness, I am curious as to what you mean by that.
Why would Lord Lonato be carrying around a secret note with an assassination plot written on it? Isn't it possible he hoped to monopolize everyone's attention with this alleged plot in order to distract from his true aim?
Maybe they're after the treasure vault. There's also lots of valuable stuff in the library and Professor Hanneman's quarters.
I'm going to stop the dialogue here because I just want to point something out that once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and if I have to suffer, so do the rest of you. Look at everybody's hands. If you change them from their default outfits into the summer outfit, the guys are just standing there like hand like 20 centimeters away from their bodies. It is hilarious. It is such a stupid little glitch that just comes by changing the costumes. But yeah, you can see it with Felix and Sylvain just standing there with their heads like, whoops. So yeah, sorry guys, but if I have to see it, so do you.
True. The monastery undoubtedly houses many weapons that rival even the hero's relics.
Whatever their aim, we can't allow any harm to come to the ladies of the monastery. I mean, what would I do with my spare time?
You mean to say we should search the monastery, try to find what the enemy is truly after?
Yes. And we should be prepared to fight them as well, should it come to that. I wouldn't mind getting in some training, just in case.
A secret meeting, Professor?
Shamir!
Oh, we haven't been introduced. I am Shamir.
Shamir is one of the Knights of Seros, and this young man here is...
I work for Lady Rhea, and I'm Shamir's apprentice. Oh, the name's Cyril. Yup, I help Lady Rhea with all kinds of stuff. I've got to protect Lady Rhea, so that's why I've got to learn all I can from Shamir.
Cyril adores Rhea. That aside, if you need anything, ask.
Shamir, I would love to ask, but you are not recruitable until chapter 7 or 8 or something like that. So unfortunately we can't get her yet. Alright, let's see. Do we have more support conversations? Yes, we do. And let me actually check what we have to do this week. We have 2 instructions, so we definitely have to motivate some people. We have we have the most useless meal event in the entire monastery, which is the head chef challenge. Basically, you get to choose 2 people who then get a random dish. And if they like it, they get extra bonuses, and if they don't like it, well, too bad. So this is the only meal event where I say don't try to bother with the meal event. Like, don't schedule your people around this. It's not worth it. Absolutely not at all. We don't have any particular battles, I think. We actually have to explore this time because we need to unearth this this assassination plot, and usually the game will give you an option of like, hey, you can have you can either battle or explore or whatever whenever you want, except there are certain months, and this is one of them, where you have to explore because you have to talk to NPCs in the monastery. But I think our only battle that we have active right now is the roster retrieval, which is still not as important. I'm not sure if we need to certify anybody. I think Ingrid. Yes, Ingrid. Oh, I'm so sorry, girl. I forgot to certify you into soldier last time. We're gonna do that right now. And Anna doesn't really matter. Anna doesn't need to be certified. Let's get it out of the way right now. Let's get Ingrid into her beginner class before I forget again. I was so sorry that I forgot about this before the last battle. Ingrid, let's go.
I must continue to work hard.
There she is. Yes, please change into this class with the better growth rates. Thank you very much. Okay. How many supports do we have? Oh, I think those are all of Dimitri's supports and like 1 or 2 others. Okay, so let's start with Dimitri's supports and let's go there.
Your Highness, the hour is late. May I ask where it is you're going?
I'm off to the library for a bit of research before I train. After that, a bath and bed.
Very well. I shall accompany you.
No. There's no need for that. I am a grown man, after all.
You sustained an injury during yesterday's training. My presence may be of use to you.
It was a mere bruise that will heal in no time. No need to fret over me, Dedu.
Are you dissatisfied with me, Your Highness? Please do not hesitate to correct me.
And there it is again.
Yes? What is it?
Well, you often choose to address me as Your Highness. When we first met, you used to call me by my name.
That was because I was unfamiliar with Fodlan's speech. Thinking back, such rude manners were inexcusable.
To be honest, I much preferred it. I feel more comfortable being addressed by my name, rather than with the honorifics that go along with being a prince.
But
I did not teach you to read and write so that you know how to address me properly. And I brought you to the academy as my friend, not a vassal.
But Your Highness, a vassal is precisely what I am.
So much has happened since we met, yet we cannot seem to bridge this gap. So be it. I give you leave to return to your quarters. Take an early night and reflect on what I've said. Please.
I couldn't possibly. I said I would accompany you, did I not?
True, but I would much prefer that we take steps to ease this mindset of yours.
Yeah. So, Dimitri actually taught Dedu how to read and write. We learned that Dusker has a different language than Fodlan, which makes sense. And yeah, this is a recurring problem between these two because, as we will later find out, Dedu was basically Dedu and Dimitri were the only survivors of this entire massacre that happened. And Dimitri has really latched onto Dedu. They are really kind of codependent. But not necessarily to an unhealthy degree. It really depends on how you interpret their relationship. It is, however, if you go for the A support with these two, you get one of the gayest endings ever, and I'm gonna spoil this right now because we are not going to get the A support between Dimitri and Dedu. We're going to get the A support between Dimitri and Marianne. But if you get the A support between these two, they get buried next to each other. Like traditionally, the king gets buried or the wife of the king gets buried next to him. So these two were all but married. So you get literally one of the gayest endings ever.
Hello, Felix. I see you're here to train as well.
Go away. Just looking at your face makes me want to retch.
With that mouth of yours, you grow more like your brother every day.
Shut up. And stop walking around on your hind legs. You're not fooling me.
I cannot fathom why you seem to hate me so.
Because I know what you really are. A beast, craving blood.
A beast craving blood, am I? I assume you're speaking of the events 2 years ago. Last time we met outside the academy?
I am. The way you suppressed that rebellion, it was ruthless slaughter, and you loved every second. I remember the way you killed your victims, how you watched them suffer. And your face, that expression, all the world's evil packed into it. That was our first battle. I remember it vividly. Oh, something wrong? Go ahead and deny it, you wild boar.
So for context, these guys were 15 or 16 years old. This was literally 2 years after Dimitri had survived an assassination that killed his father and pretty much everyone in their entourage and led to the genocide of the people of Dusker. So, yeah, life has been a bit shit. They were told to put down the rebellion, and Dimitri's PTSD showed hard. And Satchel, please don't apologize for your language. I curse like a sailor. I always make that clear to everybody. I think there's even I think my channel is also labeled matures precisely for that reason. But yeah, the problem with Felix is he has a very, very difficult problem with nuance. He has a very difficult problem with acknowledging things as complex and seeing them in more as black and white. So to him, Dimitri is either a kind and wonderful human being, the one he knew before all this shit with Dusker happened, or he is this wild, crazed animal who's only bloodthirsting. And the problem is, Dimitri is both. Like, he is still the kind person that he was before, but he's suffering from major PTSD, and it has left him with basically almost like a personality disorder. So, yeah.
I deny nothing, Felix.
Well then. I suppose the Dimitri I once knew died during that slaughter in Dusker, along with my brother.
Perhaps you're right.
Hurry up and get out of my sight. I don't make a habit of talking to beasts.
Yeah, and the problem is Dimitri thinks so lowly of himself, he doesn't try to correct Felix until much, much later in the game. I think during their A support, when Felix actually asks him, like, who are you? Are you a wild beast, or are you, like, a normal human being? And Dimitri's like, don't be ridiculous, you know, I'm both. Like, both of those parts of me. So, yeah, it's a very complex relationship the two of them share, and a very difficult history. And part of Felix's growth arc throughout the series, throughout this game, especially on Azure Moon. On the other routes, he basically either stays the same or regresses. But on Azure Moon, part of his growth is coming to understand that people are more complex and learning to look past that and focus on what's actually important. So yeah, very complicated history between those two. And as for your remark on rules regarding language, Sachi, I think there are some rules regarding it. Like there's definitely a few words that can get you in really, really hot water. But I trust all of you guys to not use those kinds of slurs and such. But I don't think anybody's going into trouble for saying shit, fuck, or goddamn. And even if they were, I'm not monetizing my channel. So I'm not getting a single cent for streaming, so there's nothing really that can happen. So anyway, oh, we actually have the first support with Marianne, and I just realized my in-game audio is actually kind of loud, so let me turn that down. Bloop. Okay. All right. Dimitri and Annette. This one is actually a bit of a hoot.
Good morning, Your Highness. Getting in some early training, huh?
Oh, it's not too terribly early. And what about you?
Oh, I'm just going for my morning walk. Hey, maybe you'd like to join me. It's It's a great way to start the day.
Morning walk? Funny. Gustav always kept the same habit. You really do remind me of your father, Annette.
I hear that a lot. Father was always busy with work, so he wasn't around much. But when he was home, he'd often take me with him for his walks.
Annette, something's been weighing on me. Something I've done terribly wrong. Your father, he worked tirelessly. I don't know if I ever saw him take a rest. I feel as though, in a way, we stole him from you.
I'll admit, it was a bit lonely growing up. But I understand. Father loved his work. No one ever doubted that. Actually, I've been thinking recently that I'd like to talk to you more, Your Highness.
Oh? Any reason in particular?
Father was a man of few words, both with myself and my mother. But sometimes he would tell me about you. So, you don't really feel like a stranger to me. In a way, it's like I've known you for a long time. Almost as though you're my big brother.
And this is precisely the reason why I don't ship those two. I think they are very amazing as a big brother, little sister duo. Do not see any romantic tension between those two at all.
Your big brother?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I let that slip out. That was rude of me.
No, nonsense. I promise you, I don't mind at all. It's certain that my days would have been filled with more fun if I'd had a little sister like you. What kind of things did Gustav tell you about me? I'd love to hear more on this topic.
Do you really want to know? Well, for one, he used to tell this story about when you were a child and...
You know what? Never mind. I have a bad feeling about where this is going. How about you forget we had this talk altogether? And don't mention it to anyone.
He's like, oh god, please don't tell my embarrassing childhood stories. Thank you very much. Well, as for the tough topics going on with the characters, it depends on which route you play. Some routes are more focused on the drama than others. Azure Moon, I feel, the one that I'm playing right now, the Blue Lion House, I think is the only one that fully goes through on its narrative dramatic potential. Crimson Flower had the potential to be absolutely epic, completely wasted it by having everybody in part 2 ignore what happened in part 1. Silver Snow had the potential to be absolutely epic and really gripping and face-planted hard because it tries to make yourself insert empty character protagonist into the main character, which kind of doesn't work because Byleth is neither fish nor fowl, as I always like to say. He, she, he, they, whatever you want to headcanon, has enough of a personality for me to not be able to project myself into the character, but not enough personality to make them an engaging character, in my opinion. So that's the problem there. And Verdant Wind had characters who had amazing narrative potential, and then just decided to go a completely different way and just copy-paste Silver Snow. So we are playing the best route of the game as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, we've got like 2 more supports to watch, so let's get that out of the way before we go into the monastery.